with us, Nibir, even as these are dramatic visuals coming in from Guwahati, and going back to Samia once again, who continues to join us live from the national capital. So, Samia, the latest input coming in is that several of the MPs for the Congress have now been detained here in the national capital, and dramatic visuals continue to come in from across the country.
Well, absolutely. I'm right now outside the Congress headquarters, and my video journalist Harinder is going to pan and show you the kind of fortress that the central Delhi surrounding the Akbar Road area has become. There are several MPs and Congress leaders, General Secretary in charges and office bearer who have already been detained. A short while back, we did see how Ambika Soni and Kumari Selja were also taken, and the police over here is constantly vacating this entire area. They do not want a congregation of senior leaders to be present over here, fearing there could be a law and order situation. Remember, this monsoon session of the parliament is still on, and the section 144 imposed around that area, so clearly the VIP movement of any sorts is being restricted, but they're not being allowed to protest. As you can see, there's massive deployment over here put in place. It all started even late last evening itself, when the Congress party had set to strategize as to how they are going to pan out their protest. There is one set of protests that took place inside the parliament where the Congress MPs were present, Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha put together. They held placards, they put adjournment motion notices in the Lok Sabha demanding a discussion on the misuse of the ED, and then they boycotted that entire session, and they all marched over here. They all assembled over here, the Congress headquarters. 75 Congress MPs, after holding a march within the parliament premises, reached here. That's when Sonia Gandhi, along with Priyanka Gandhi, went to the ED office, and there has been sporadic protests by Youth Congress. B.V. Srinivas, the president of the Youth Congress, has been spearheading that entire protest, but the Mahila Congress, the frontal organizations, all of them have been holding protests. We did see a short while back
coming in from the Congress headquarters, inside the Lok Sabha, outside the parliament, in Patna, in Mumbai, in Hyderabad, also in Bengaluru, where Deepak is reporting live from. Over to you, Deepak. All right. In the meantime, those pictures that are coming in of the Congress party, which is leading with their protest, with the party workers continuing with their protest. And right now, even as the ED questioning Sonia Gandhi, lot of barricading and security that has been beefed up. Despite that, no police permission been given for any protest to be carried out. Many of those Congress party netas who have been now likening ED to idiot. That is what is being said by Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. Many of them have been detained also, as buses after buses that have been the requirements and the arrangements that have been made so that they can court arrest or they can be detained by the police. We're looking at similar pictures of what played out in June when Rahul Gandhi was summoned by the Enforcement Directorate. Today it is Sonia Gandhi questioning. However, the number of requests that the interim Congress party has made to the ED, they have been accepted so far. So multiple pictures of protests from different parts of the country, as the Congress party has been calling it a political witch hunt and vendetta.
Absolutely, and they're also terming this as Satyagraha 2.0, because remember, similar such images were also witnessed while Rahul Gandhi was being questioned. And Nibir Deka once again joins us from Guwahati. Yes, Nibir, we saw these dramatic visuals on our screen coming in from Guwahati, where several of these Congress workers are being detained and taken away.
This is the as you can see here in front of me is the Assam Youth Congress president, and she has been dragged. She has been literally dragged to the bus, and the police is now dragging her and taking her away to the bus. She is the president of the Assam Youth Congress, Ankita Doctor, and the Congress protesters have blocked the road, and now they are being dragged because the hostile nature of the protest. And as you can see here, she has been taking the lady police officials have been taking away. And mind you, this is exactly the place where a police official was injured in the previous altercation between the Congress workers. And again, similar scenes here, hostile scenes here in Assam, and where the president of the Assam Youth Congress now falls. So as you can see, there is a constant struggle between the police administration and the Assam Youth Congress workers here. They are now being They are being dragged. And as you can see, she has blocked the road here. She has blocked the road here. The Congress workers have blocked the main road. This is the main GS road area of Guwahati, and the Congress has now blocked the main GS road area. This road connects Guwahati to Shillong, and now the Youth Congress has blocked the road. They have fallen. This is the main road of Guwahati, and this has been blocked by Congress workers and leading to heavy traffic jam. As you can see, this is one of the peak areas of the city, and the Youth Congress workers have blocked the main road, and now the police is now trying to take the protesters away to the detention center, but to no avail, because they are continuously at it, and they have tried to create a ruckus in the GS road area of Guwahati. And as you can see here, the Assam Youth Congress president is literally being dragged. To the bus, even after requests being made to not break the barricades and not to make this protest hostile, the Assam Youth Congress leaders have completely blocked the GS road. They broke the barricades, and now as such the police administration are now taking them to the bus to detain to the nearest detention center. So as things stand, the protests have turned hostile in Guwahati. The protests against the ED summons of Sonia Gandhi have taken to hostile, and the Assam Youth Congress has made sure that the protests. As you can see, another attempt has been made by the protester, by the president of the Assam Youth Congress, to break out of the bus. And these are dramatic visuals coming from Guwahati. The Youth Congress protest has turned totally hostile here. They are alleging that the police tried to manhandle the Youth Congress protesters, but on the other hand, they tried to break the barricades. They tried to block the GS road area. That has led to a heavy traffic jam. As you can see on my left, it has led to a heavy traffic jam. And as we are going to speak with the protester who was this. So the protests have actually really turned hostile here. As you can see, the entire GS road, this is the main road of Guwahati, has been blocked by the Congress protesters here, and the Youth Congress have went in the middle of the road, and as such they are now being detained by the Assam police, and they are. Man, what do you ask? You have been back to the road. You have been back to the road, man. So this was the Assam Youth Congress leaders. They have been taken, detained by the Assam police, leading to a heavy traffic jam in Guwahati. As you can see here, the Assam Congress protests against the ED summons of Sonia Gandhi have turned hostile in the city, and now.
Alright, so my colleague Nibir now in fact continues to get us those dramatic and live visuals from Guwahati, where Congress youth workers and other workers have been staging these protests. Several of them have now been detained, even as the ED continues to quiz Sonia Gandhi, who is now in fact at the ED headquarters in the national capital. And it is not just in Guwahati, but various other parts of the country where we are witnessing these images. Yes, Nibir, back to you.
Yes, as you can see, the Assam Youth Congress protesters are now being dragged because they are not listening to the request made by the administration. Few of the ladies protesters have been dragged into the bus by the lady police officials. They have earlier broken the barricades that were given here, and the democratic protest has now totally turned hostile. They have also blocked the main road of Guwahati, that is the GS road area, leading to a heavy traffic jam. This particular road connects Guwahati to Shillong, so it's a very important road here. And as you can see, the total chaos here currently, where the protesters are now being dragged. The entire primary leadership of the Assam Congress have been detained, and what remains is the Assam Youth Congress and the Mahila Congress, few members of them, but rest all of them have been detained. There has been problem regarding the lack of unruly behavior. Sir, what is sir, they have been, as you can see, the administration is continuously busy here because there have been unruly behavior by the protesters that has led to the jams. There is scuffle ongoing between the police as well as the administration. Administration is concerned. The barricades have already been broken, and few Congress remaining workers are there. They're still protesting here. They are now being detained by the police here. As you can see, these protests have happened across this country, but in Guwahati, the protests have turned actually hostile because women protesters had to be dragged by the police to the buses as they broke all the requests done by the administration to keep it a democratic protest. But no, they broke the barricades. They tried to block the roads, and this is a very crucial road because this road connects to the main medical nursing home in Guwahati, and they tried to break the road here, and as such they had to be detained by the police. And now the police is trying to almost enter the Rajiv Bhavan. They have not entered the Rajiv Bhavan, but they are trying to drag the protesters away. As you can see here, a senior citizen has been detained by the police, and the remaining protesters are also being now taken. They are trying to do a sit-in demonstration. We'll take you close to the action. They are trying to do a sit-in demonstration here. They're trying to do a sit-in demonstration here, and the police is almost on the gate of the Rajiv Bhavan. The police is trying to stop the sit-in demonstration. The barricades have already been, damaged by the protesters, and now the police is now have completely blocked the Rajiv Bhavan. The Rajiv Bhavan is now completely blocked. The Congress headquarters is now completely blocked. No one can come out of the Congress headquarters. As such, they are protesting from within the peripheries of the Rajiv Bhavan.
And Samia, what is being said so far, that the Congress party come out and said that this is a satyagraha, it is going to be a peaceful protest. Looking at the pictures, doesn't seem so.
Well, absolutely, and we saw this happening even last time around when Rahul Gandhi was called for the interrogation by the ED. We saw violent protests spotted across the country. Whether they had the permissions to hold protests and demonstrations or not, they went ahead with it. Several places witnessed sporadic protests, and this time around, because the Congress president Sonia Gandhi, the protest has been decided. It is categorically orchestrated to be on a larger scale to try and escalate the attack against the government by holding more violent protests. So whether it is just a day today or she's been called for interrogation for consecutive days, the Congress party is all geared up to carry out.
Keep a close watch on the proceedings further, even as live images coming in from across the country. Sam, slipping into a short break now. We'll be back with this non-stop rolling coverage on the other side.